Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. Today I am making this video as a sequel to a video that I previously posted about the Muslim metaphysician Jake, who is unable to name even one non-Shia Islamic Neoplatonic philosopher. And I am asking him this question to show him that he has not actually engaged with the works of Islamic Neoplatonic philosophers, and he does not understand what they are saying. So in this video, I will try to show you what happened and what has happened, and why should we care, why should you as a neutral Islamic viewer or just as a person who is interested in Islam should care about this issue. But before I go into this discussion, I want to make clear that when I asked him that to name a Sunni Neoplatonic thinker, he was unable to do so. And in that video, he names Ibn Arabi. So before going into the video, I'm just going to make it clear that he didn't even clearly know about Ibn Arabi, and we told him about Ibn Arabi and that his metaphysics was Neoplatonic, and he was actually very shocked when he heard it. And I'm going to attach this audio as well, and you can listen to it. So yeah.
Ibn Arabi is a Neoplatonist as well, and he's said some very harsh things against Shiism.
Yes.
So you can have the same metaphysics.
But do you think he had the same metaphysics that you have?
Yes.
Yeah, he does. Yes. Yep.
Really? Okay. I mean, I would
Sufi metaphysics.
All of Sufi metaphysics is Neoplatonic.
Yeah, but I'm not just referring to Neoplatonic. I mean, anyway, I don't want to cut off Yahya, so I don't want to ask too many questions. But I would like to talk more, Khalil, about Ibn Arabi and whether or not you see eye to eye with him metaphysically.
Go ahead, have that discussion.
Ibn Arabi has this. I mean, he has the universal intellect. He has the universal soul. He has God transcending all attributes. Absolutely.
Yeah. Actually, even in Iran right now, the final year's reading is Wujood Hikmah.
Now, if we are to go into the background of what has happened, then I will tell you that, first of all, Jake made a room against Ismailis, right? And in that room, he said that Ismailis are kafirs, right? And one more thing that he said was that anyone who believes in Neoplatonism or a type of Neoplatonic philosophy is a kafir. Now that is a problematic thing. Whether you believe that Ismailis, due to their beliefs, or are kafir or not, right? What the point of emphasis here is that not only Ismailis believe in Neoplatonism, there are many other Muslims that believe in a type of Neoplatonism as well. And if you are calling Ismailis kafir just because they believe in Neoplatonism, then it is not only Ismailis who we are calling kafir, but you are takfiring, or you are calling kafir many other Muslims as well, right? So, and this is exactly what the video is about. This video is on and against Jake's attack on Neoplatonism, and I will try to explain it in the best possible way that I can. So first of all, we should unpack this term Neoplatonism. Honestly, I really do not like using this term, because this term implies like this idea was taken from Greeks, or this idea was not present in the Muslim tradition, or is not local to the Muslim tradition. The other terms that have been used to describe and explain Neoplatonism can be called irfan, it can be called tasawwuf, it can be called hikmah, the wisdom, and it can be known as tanazzulat, and many other things. And this whole idea of gradation in reality, which is called Tashkik al Wujood, is very common amongst all Muslims, right? And Muslims have a hadith, the sayings of the Prophet, and even the verses of Quran to support this view and uphold this view, right? So now, what is this view essentially? So all the Neoplatonists, the basic Neoplatonic structure or the basic Hikmah, now from now on I will be calling it Hikmah or as Falsafa. So this basic view is this, that at first God created a light, right? And this light is known as Haqiqah al Muhammadiyah or Haqiqah al Muhammadiyah or Nur Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. From this, other things were created from this primordial Nur, and for example the angels were created from it, and then from them you get the material world, right? So this is the whole idea that these people like to call Neoplatonism, but we can call it Hikmah, right? So, and this is the basic view, and now I want to prove to you that this basic view of emanation, this basic view of Tashkikul Wujood is present in many Muslims. So anyone who calls this view Kufr, right, is calling many Muslims kafir. And this is exactly what I was arguing against Jake. So whether you believe Ismailis belong to Islam or they do not belong to Islam due to their other beliefs, it is irrelevant to this topic, which is that Neoplatonism or Hikmah is Kufr. Now, inquiring this view, I went into an extensive discussion with Jake and inquired why he believed that a belief in Haqiqah al Muhammadiyah or Aql al Awwal is Kufr, right? And it clearly showed that he did not know what he was talking about, right? Now, I will try to show you that what his objections were and why did he believe that it was Kufr. So his first objection on this belief of Haqiqah al Muhammadiyah was that the Haqiqah al Muhammadiyah has knowledge of contingent reality. So it has knowledge, all the knowledge of the material world, right?
Is the essential thing that you're against? Like, what?
Oh, there's several things.
What are the few main things? Like the first intellect, it having knowledge or something?
I mean, that's one example. That something else besides God is omniscient, for example.
Mm-hmm. So you believe like anyone who believes in this is doing kufr, having a kufri belief.
Yeah.
Well,
This was one of his objections. The second objection that he had with the Haqiqat al Muhammadiyah, that it did not have a finite past, or it had a temporal beginning in a sense, right? Now, I will try to show you that many Muslims either qualify on both the criterias about their beliefs for the Haqiqat al Muhammadiyah, or they at least qualify one criteria. And inshallah, I will try to show it to you. So, if we talk about Haqiqat al Muhammadiyah as it is, without the considerations of its attributes, we can say that many Muslims have traditionally believed in Haqiqat al Muhammadiyah, and I will cite extensive sources for that as well. The Falsafa like Ibn Sina, Mulla, Sadra, Shahabuddin, Suhrawardi, they have believed in Haqiqah al Muhammadiyah, Tabai, Ayatollah Jawadi Amali. All these people, they have believed in Haqiqah al Muhammadiyah. If we talk about the Sufis, then in Sufis many people have believed in Haqiqat al Muhammadiyah. Ibn Arabi has believed in Haqiqat al Muhammadiyah. If you go to and everyone knows about the influence of Ibn Arabi in India, in Pakistan, and in the journal tradition of Muslims, right? And when I talked to Jake about Ibn Arabi, right, he straight out denied that normal people either know about him or have been affected by him. It is very obvious to anyone who knows about the Islamic tradition that Ibn Arabi is a great thinker, and he has a huge influence on Islamic philosophy and Islamic mysticism and even the Islam of a normal person. So whether they know Ibn Arabi by name or have just been affected by his views, that stands true, right? They are affected by Ibn Arabi.
Do you know that like majority of Muslims would call Shaykh al-Akbar, right?
No, I don't think so, bro. I mean, the majority of Muslims have no idea who the hell Shaykh al-Akbar even is.
So in this recording, you can clearly say how ignorant this person is and how he doesn't realize that Ibn Arabi is recognized by everyone, either directly or through a student of his or through someone who was affected by Ibn Arabi. And for someone who claims to be a Muslim metaphysician to disrespect Ibn Arabi or to say that people don't even know who he is absolutely absurd. Like how can we even consider this person a student of Islamic tradition, let alone a Muslim metaphysician who can represent Islamic metaphysics in front of other people, if you don't even know about the most fundamental and the most famous person in Islamic history and in Islamic mysticism, specifically in Islamic metaphysics and Islamic philosophy. So I am really disappointed, and I don't really know why people think that he is a Muslim metaphysician, or why people think that he knows Islamic metaphysics to start with. Anyway, turning back to the school of Ibn Arabi. So from the school of Ibn Arabi, Sadruddin Qunavi, Daud al-Kaysari, Fakhruddin Iraqi, Abdul Karim Jilli, Abdul Rahman Jami, Hamza Farari, Najmuddin Kubra, Najmuddin Razi, Abdul Razak al-Kashani, all these people believed in, and these people belong to the Akbarian school, all these believed in Haqiqah al Muhammadiyah. Now, if we are to come to Kalam schools, even from Kalam schools, we can find many examples, like the whole of Barelvi schools, Imam Ahmad Raza Khan Barelvi, even before that, Mulla Ali Qari, and Imam Ghazali, and all these people, they believed in Haqiqat al Muhammadiyah as well. If we take people from Maturidiyah and Ashariya, right? So all the Barelvis believe in this. Ashraf Ali Thanvi, who is the founder of Deobandi school, he believed in it as well. So Haqiqat al Muhammadiyah, even Abdul Qadir Jilani, who was an Athari, he believed in it as well. So we can even find Atharis who believed in Haqiqat al Muhammadiyah. Now that is the case. So one cannot come up and say that believing in Haqiqat al Muhammadiyah is kufr, right? So that was the first mistake of this person called Jake. Now, when I talked to him, right, he came up and said that these people, they believed in Haqiqat al Muhammadiyah, but as the Neoplatonists believe that this Haqiqat al Muhammadiyah is eternal, right? Eternal in the sense that it is not temporally originated, right? That there is no time of non-existence before it, right? And this is the view of the Falsafa, and this is the view of obviously the Akbarian school as well. So this is the view of both these schools. So now he said that, I only called a belief in eternal Haqiqat al Muhammadiyah kufr, but a belief in non-eternal Haqiqat al Muhammadiyah is fine, right? Now the thing is, there are two main points here. Okay, let us just for a moment, let us grant Jake this fact that, non-eternal Haqiqat al Muhammadiyah is not kufr, but we should remember that he called that an omniscient Haqiqat al Muhammadiyah that knows contingent realities, that is kufr, right? But as you know, Barelvis believe that the reality of the Prophet, Haqiqah al Muhammadiyah, knows contingent realities. So majority of the Muslim population or even the Sunni population in the subcontinent is Barelvi, so they become kafir, right? At least they are not Muslims, because in the sense that Jake was using this word kafir, right, he meant that these people who hold these views, they become kafir, they become gar Muslim, they should not be considered as Muslims, right? So that is for one. Now the other thing is that I can even argue, and very substantially if I want to argue, even though I need not to, that even those Maturidis and Asharis who believe that it is not temporally originated, right, or the Haqiqat al Muhammadiyah is temporally originated, even they do not believe in its finitism. How so? Because in their definition, hudud, hadis, is the thing that is masbuq bil adam, right, that is, you know, preceded by non-existence, right? Now it is either logically preceded by non-existence or temporally preceded by non-existence. Matter, time, by definition, right, is a measure of change, right? So before Haqiqat al Muhammadiyah, the only thing that exists is God, right? So obviously God cannot change, because if God is changing, right, then that makes him contingent. So God is not changing, right? Now when God creates Haqiqat al Muhammadiyah, right, that is the first change itself, right? And that is the start of time. So even if Haqiqat al Muhammadiyah is hudus, has an hudus zamani, a temporal origination in a kalami sense, right, even for them the matter is not clear, because they believe that many of them believe that you cannot reach its end, you cannot reach its starts, right? Because it is the very first thing that was created. So it is, in a sense, the start of time, right? So in a sense, their belief is also the view of the Falsafa, because the Falsafa also do not believe that you can reach the start of the first intellect, right? Now in this way their view is very similar to Falsafa, and it becomes a linguistic difference, right? And there was a brother as well in that discussion who was a follower of Saeed Nursi, Turkish Maturidi/Ashari but Kalami, and Jake asked him the same question, that whether what I am saying is true or not, and he said, yeah, I agree with Ilyas. So you can hear this audio as well. And later Jake got angry at him and kicked him. So just as a side note, I want to point out behavior of Jake as well, because he has abused me, and yesterday he abused me as well, and he keeps bullying people. So I think rather than other than an academic debate, there is definitely a moral critique on him that can be put forward as well. So let us hear this audio too, where the follower of Saeed Nursi, he agrees with me as well and agrees with my point.
There's anything besides God that is eternal in the sense that it does not have a beginning in time.
Well, God's not in time to begin with, so I mean...
Yes, exactly. That's what I was trying to say.
I didn't ask about God. I'm saying, is there anything besides God that is not eternal? I mean, that is eternal, sorry.
No, nothing's eternal. See, that's the thing. Like, but
here is another...
No, do you think that there's anything that is eternal in the sense that it does not have a beginning in time, and so it's not God?
I start now and I go back and back in time, will ever reach its start point? No, I won't.
So it was always there, never had a beginning in time.
Yeah.
And what is that?
What would that be? That would be you know, the act of creation, if you want to put it into terms, and I would put
exactly.
it
No, I'm asking about the effect.
Yeah, Nur Muhammadi is saying that. You see, this is what Ashaira believe in.
Hold on, let him answer the question. God damn.
No, I agree with Ilyas on this.
So, okay, And that is an arguable thing. I agree with it. Even if you don't want to grant me this, right? Even if you don't want to grant that Ashaira and Maturidiyya believe in an eternal, your so-called definition of eternal, even though I would argue with this. Even if I argue, even if I grant you this point, right? Even after this, they do believe, as Brelvis do, and you can surely check out their literature on it as well, that the Haqiqah al Muhammadiyah has knowledge of all contingent realities, right? And many other Sunni Muslims, alhamdulillah, because it has been written in many hadiths as well, believe in it as well, right? Because there are many hadiths which show that God wrote everything on the law using the qalam, with the pen and the paper, and they believe that either the pen or paper refers to the first intellect, right? So these people do believe a very high amount of knowledge of the first intellect, an omniscient amount of knowledge of the first intellect, and it is not seen problematic at all, and it is surely not called kufr, right? And if you want to talk about the people who would actually become kafir, right, these people would include the school of Ibn Arabi, because the school of Ibn Arabi has the exact same views as the school of Falsafa as well, because they believe that the first intellect is eternal. They believe that the first intellect is mamda jami'ul mumkinat, it has the knowledge of all realities, from it all realities come, right? And in the subcontinent, as you know, Shaykh al-Akbar he had a great influence, and people wrote treatises in his defense as well, right? If you can read the treatises of Ashraf Ali Thanvi, who was the founder of the Deobandi school in Pakistan and in India. You can read treatises of Ahmad Raza Khan Barelvi, who was the founder of the Barelvi school in Pakistan, right? So these people also take Ibn Arabi in a very high regard, right? And these people are greatly followed in Muslim cultures, right? So to just come up and say that all these people, an integral belief of Muslims, right, a belief in Haqiqah al Muhammadiyah, or a belief in the knowledge of Haqiqah al Muhammadiyah, or a belief in the eternity of the Haqiqah al Muhammadiyah is kufr, is absolutely absurd, when you can find it in so many Sunni sources as well, right? So I just want Jake, even if you want to criticize other communities because of some other beliefs, he shouldn't come up and say that a fundamental belief of Islam for many Muslims, for a majority of Muslims, is kufr. Because if he says this, then it is absolutely absurd, and he's calling takfir on great scholars like Ibn Arabi and so many great scholars, even when he has not read any of them. So who gave this person who has not read any Islamic metaphysician, any great person like Shaykh al-Akbar, who gave him the right to come up and call him a kafir or call his views kufr?
In his view, many scholars of Ahl Sunnah, who people look up to, would become kafir.
When did I say that? I never said that.
No. Obviously, since if you believe that it is kufr, they would be believing in something that is. Did I say anybody was kafir? They wouldn't become kafir, but they would be believing in something that is kufr.
Yeah, I think most people in the world do. So what? What's your point? You're stating the obvious, my friend.
And many scholars of Ahl Sunnah as well believed in kufr.
Bro, Ahl Sunnah.
That just doesn't make sense.
What's your Ahl Sunnah, man?
It makes a lot of sense.
Everyone was wrong apart from Shaykh al-Rais, al-Muslim, al-Metaphysician.
I think most people about their Aqeedah have been wrong, correct?
So as you have seen in the audio, this is what this person believes in, that majority of the people of Ahlus Sunnah, let alone the Shi'i school, majority of the people of Ahlus Sunnah as well, majority of the scholars were wrong about their Aqeedah, and their Aqeedah was not correct. And now Muslim Metaphysician, mashallah, Mujtahid fil Islam, Mujtahid fil Aqeedah, the person who will change all the Aqeedah has come up, and he will teach us metaphysics, inshallah, and he will correct all of us by saying God can change, God is in time, and by believing that God has accidental properties, and by by saying that everyone else who does not agree with this, who does not, who believes in Haqiqah al Muhammadiyah or the knowledge of Haqiqah al Muhammadiyah, believes in Kufr. So I think it is absolutely clear that we should not be taking this person seriously. He knows nothing about Islamic philosophy, he knows nothing about Islamic metaphysics, and he has accepted it himself as well. So please avoid this person, avoid his works. And if you do actually want to watch his works, then watch them in a very critical and in an open manner. And this is all I want to say. The evidence is absolutely clear. This person knows nothing about Islamic philosophy. If you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out, and please comment your thoughts about it as well. If you like this video, please share and subscribe and like. Thank you very much. Ma'as salama.